Todd Boss, what's up, buddy? We are live here on not an official Beyond the Court, but you and I decided we have to do our predictions.
Absolutely. How you doing, Sudsy?
Doing well. I was watching some LPRT, following a little bit of the IRT, seeing what's going on. Well, of course, a little social media. Got a good workout in today. Got to get ready for that tournament, that Nationals, in a couple weeks.
It's kind of important. In fact, it's so important that we've seen one of the leading IRT pros not play this weekend, perhaps to rest up for it.
Do you think that's why?
I don't know. Maybe. I can't imagine that's why. He probably has a different reason, but I'm bearing the lead. We'll get to that when we get there.
You want to start the show with a bang? I'll call Rocky and ask him. Oh, wait, maybe I'll invite him in.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right,
He's probably on the beach, watching his son surf.
I'll ask him right now. Want to jump on a live real quick. All right, let's get right to it. We'll wait for Rocky Carson to get back to us, see if he wants to join us. So, Todd, you got the ladies in Greenville, South Carolina, right?
Yes.
And the men are in Long Island, New York. You got the best players in the world playing racquetball this weekend. I love it. They're all over the place. We have the best player on the planet playing in New York in Kane Wazelenchuk. We have Paola Longoria playing in Greenville, South Carolina. So let's start. How about we start with the women's doubles of the LPRT, okay? Because I didn't download that one, so we're gonna have to go through it. You're gonna lead me through it, and then we're gonna make our picks.
All right. So I believe that they're through the quarters. I don't think they've updated R2 Sports, but the last match of the evening was 1 versus 8, Longoria and Salas versus Amy Roller and Erica Mania. I think that's done now.
It is. Salas and Longoria won.
So we are essentially, we've got 1 versus 5 at the top and 3 versus 2 at the bottom. But boy, they had to work to get there. So Longoria and Salas have won. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but they've won something like 35 LPRT Pro titles together, another 15 national titles, untold number of international titles. They're the clear favorites. The big question for me is how much can a team push them up in Greenville this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Monty and Herrera aren't there together. They're to me I think they're the second best women's team on the planet next to Paola and Samantha. I'll tell you right now, team from USA, man, Kalani and Holly, those ladies can play doubles. I watched it up close and personal. They're gaining confidence, and they're figuring it out. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to be tough to deal with. They're going to be a tough out, and I'm going to predict it right now. I'll tell you that they're my pick to win the national doubles.
That's not a bad pick. I can't disagree with that. They're going to compete against 2 other pretty solid teams who are both playing together this weekend, and that's Amy and Erica, who they just played reasonably well against the number 1 team. But at the bottom of the bracket in the quarters, Rhonda and Cheryl went 11-10. They had match point on their racket and couldn't convert against the Argentines in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, that's a new team. Usually that team would have Maria Jose Vargas, who's arguably the second or third best player in the world. And she's not playing doubles for some other reasons, which I'm sure will be known soon, but all is good, all is well. And I think Natalia and Valeria playing pretty well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me that much, although Cheryl Lotz, she's playing very well, as Steve Castleberry pointed out earlier. So,
I agree.
We'll see. So give me the matchups. Let's talk to me. What are the semis? Let's make some picks.
I mean, I think your top semi, as much as I like the way that Lawrence and Scott are playing together, I can't see them beating the number 1 team of Longoria and Salas at the top. At the bottom, interestingly, Alexandra's not playing with a normal partner, Monsi. However, she is playing with Jessica Perea, and they blitzed through their quarterfinal. They won 10-1 against the long-standing Colombian national team of Riveros and Amaya. I think they're my pick to make the final and compete against Paola and Salas with, I hate to go chalk, but I think that the number 1 team is not going to be beaten by Herrera this weekend in doubles unless she had a normal partner.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go crazy here, and I'm gonna say that Longoria and Salas are gonna beat the team from USA, Holly Ray Scott, Kaylani Lawrence, my mixed doubles partner, in a tiebreaker. I think it's gonna be a really good match. I think that they're going to play well. I think it's a great tune-up for those ladies going in. And imagine if they do win. Imagine the amount of confidence they're going to have going into Texas in 10 days or whatever it is, 2 weeks. But yeah, it's just tough. I mean, it's so hard to ever go against Paola when she's on the court. Let's be honest. On the bottom half, I think that Alexandra is maybe the best doubles player in the entire draw. From a strategic standpoint, shot making, knowing what shots to hit, court positioning, I'm going to pick Herrera and Padilla to win that. I think they'll be in the finals, and I think they're going to play Samantha and Paola.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's too much of a shock for anybody.
We'll get to that. George DeWilloughby has a question. It's up on the screen. But, Todd, we'll get to that. We'll end the show with a little Nationals talk. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. I just was pulling it up. I'm like, we got to get there.
All right, so we both are picking that. So who's your pick to win the women's doubles?
Longoria Salas for the 36th time or something like that.
I will agree with you. I'll say Longoria and Salas win that. So that's a wash. Nothing fun there because we have our usual amazing steak dinner bet for everyone we get right and wrong. All right, now let's go. Todd, you pick. We want to do the men's or the women's?
I say let's do the women's singles because there's no men's doubles this weekend.
Women's singles right there. There it is. It's in front of you. You lead us off. Go ahead.
All right, well, let's talk real quick about the 5 matches that happened today. So women's tournament this weekend has a Saturday final, so they play in kind of a compressed schedule, blowing through the 32s on Thursday night, and then 2 rounds Friday, 2 rounds Saturday. So we saw 5 matches today and a couple of interesting results. Right from the top, Cheryl Lotz took it to Michaela Meneses, 2-2. That's a matchup where they've played a couple times in the last couple months. And Meneses has had 0 problems with Cheryl, and there was no answer today.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I haven't seen Cheryl play that way in a while. She just kicked her ass. Sometimes that happens, man. I say it all the time. We could be as prepared as we want to be. We could train as hard as we want to be. We think we have a plan, and Cheryl just came out, played great. Obviously, Michaela wasn't prepared to make maybe necessary adjustments that she needed to or will need to as she continues to improve as a player on the tour. And good for Lotzi. That's a good win for Cheryl Lotz. Again, going into the Nationals in a couple weeks, Team USA players that want to get on Team USA, and anybody competing there, some good tune-ups coming, and that's good for Lotzi right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Nancy Enriquez, who's the highest seed who had to play a play-in, she played North Carolina's Mary Kirchhoff, who is notable because she is 66 years old, young, and still competing on the Ladies Pro Tour. So, God bless her for still putting it out there.
I had to see my whole face. She's 66.
Yeah. She turned 60. She turned 67 later this month.
That's impressive. Good for her. I did not know that. That's pretty awesome.
Holly Scott had an interesting, a closer match against Naomi Ross from Texas. Holly won 9-10, but every time Naomi plays, she puts a better match out there, and it's just a matter of time before she beats a top seed.
I mean, that's what it takes. She's down in Texas, I believe, right? Is that correct? Yeah. And I think she's working with Sandy and George, Sandy Rios, George Bustos. If I am correct, I'm not sure, but
yeah, I believe it's all in San Antonio. Yeah.
She's playing well, but let me tell you, Holly Ray Scott knows what she's doing. It's amazing to say she's a veteran there in that matchup, but Holly Ray's also getting ready for Nationals, and I think these girls are, getting ready to see what it's going to take to go win that. I think Nationals is in the U.S. here is wide open, so this South Carolina event is a great tune-up.
100%. Maria Renee Rodriguez got a first career win over Adriana Riveros, so that's a good win for her. They went tiebreaker.
Good win, but Maria Renee's been playing well, and she was a co-host with me on Beyond the Court, so that's always good luck, and usually you get a W after something like that.
Sure. I mean, she played – look, these two guys played almost a year ago exactly at the Team Root last year, and it was a Riveros win 4-11, and so good for Rodriguez for being able to turn that tide. And then the last singles 32 was Christina Amaya really blowing past a Washington-based State player and Jessica Chen 6-1 to set up a matchup with the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, at first, hey, Mike Kinkin, thank you very much. That's very generous of you, Team Dovetail. We love those stars. Todd, I got to be honest. I hate talking about them, but they're cool. It's, how do you not, right? Like, it helps. There's a lot of money and time that goes into all this stuff I'm doing, and thank you. Anyway, I appreciate that. I'm not going to keep saying, give me stars, but it helps. We love it. Yeah, Jessica Chen, good for her getting out there, battling. It's a beautiful thing. And, but, it's she's not ready to win that.
No. Jessica Chen, I believe that she is from my part of town. Yeah, she hails from Roanoke, Virginia, which is about an hour from where I am, and where Kehlani Lawrence lived for a number of years. So, so shout out to Team Virginia there, even if she doesn't live here anymore. All right, so you want to run through and do some predictions for the rest of the draw?
Let's do it. Let's start right there. Go for it.
All right, here we go.
Start from the top.
Longoria Lots.
You decide.
Wait. Oh, start from the top. All right, in the 16s, Longoria Lots. We think Lots is playing out of her mind so far this weekend. Can she press Longoria?
No. Longoria wins in 2.
Yeah, I think so too. I always love the 8-9 and the 7-10 matchups in these pro events because it's always compelling. It's always close. So in the 8-9 here, you have Centejas versus Salas. Kind of an interesting mix of matchups there. Valeria had a couple of really solid wins, but then she's really kind of scuffled lately. Meanwhile, Salas, 2 seasons ago, if you look up her results, made the final in every event and lost to Paola in every event. And ever since then, she's really struggled as well, and she's slipped to number 8. So these are players that are both kind of searching for some form.
Obviously Samantha's the veteran. She's the player that's been there, done that. Valeria is coming up. Side note, Veronica and I and the kids met with Valeria and Maria Jose Vargas for lunch on Tuesday. So got a chance to talk to them before they went off to Greenville. And yeah, they're Valeria's excited. She's a young up and coming player. I think she has some good, exciting things happening here in the near future for her. But I don't think she's quite ready to start beating Sam yet, even though I think Samantha maybe is kind of on that, looking at what's next in life. We've all been there for us that have played all these years. But I think that Samantha will come out on top on that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
So does Robert Lyons. What's up, Robert Lyons?
All right, so next up.
Wait, you didn't pick. Give me your pick.
Oh, yeah, no, I think Salas takes that.
Okay.
For similar reasons. All right, 5-12, Parilla Enriquez.
That's a great one. That's a really, really good one. Go ahead.
These two have faced each other now 4 times in the last year, and they've split 2-2. They are back and forth. Nancy beat her in Mexican Nationals, and then Jessica turned around and beat her at the team route last year. Nancy beat Jessica in Denver, and then Jessica turned around and beat Nancy at the Arizona Open. So who knows? I mean, who knows what's going on here?
Well, you want to make your pick, or you want me to?
I mean, it's Nancy's turn, but but something tells me I think Jessica is the better player right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Nancy's a mom. She's working hard back home. Jessica's working hard, doing other things. She's modeling. She's acting. She's, a social media influencer. But I think they both work hard and train. I think the difference is that Jessica can focus a little bit more on racquetball. I think Jessica might be a little bit more generally athletic, and I think Nancy is the more skilled technician of the two of them. I think it's going to be a really good match, but I'm going to go with Jessica Parilla in 3.
I agree. All right, 4-13, Mendez versus Holly Scott. So an interesting one here, because I think that you and I both agree that Holly is kind of rising, and she is improving in her results. But, Mendez is solid. Mendez rarely takes an early loss. She rarely loses to a player she's not supposed to lose to. These guys don't have a ton of history against each other. In fact, the only time I've got them facing each other in my database is when they were 16 at the Junior Worlds. So 0 professional meetings between them. What do you think?
I'm going with Holly Ray Scott with the upset.
Ooh.
I think she's scrappy. I think she's ready. I think she embraces these moments. I know she does. And, Natalia has been playing a lot of racquetball. And at some point, that's got to catch up. I think Holly is truly, she likes to battle. And Todd, that's not something you can teach. She's been playing better.
Yeah.
I'm picking Holly in 2, actually. And maybe I'm wrong. I think Natalia's, obviously doing great. She's the 4th best player in the world. And, as far as ranking is concerned, I'm going to go with a big upset. I think that that win by Holly, if it happens, I think is only going to make, again, the nationals that much more interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I like Mendez, but I can't disagree with anything you just said. So we'll split the difference there. All right, let's move on.
I like when you disagree with me.
Vargas, Marie Renee Rodriguez. I think Vargas has just got too much firepower here and kind of cruises to a win here in her opener.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Vargas also, but Marie Renee playing in her hometown, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. She did play Vargas really, really well at the U.S. Open. It was a tiebreaker. I want to say 11-8 or 11-9. And Vargas, again, a mom of 2, traveling, playing like crazy. But I'll tell you right now, Todd, because I've worked with her so much, know her so well. She spends a lot of time here with Veronica and I. I don't think there's many other women that like to work out and train as much as she does. She just doesn't stop. So I'm going to go with a Maria Jose Vargas win against Maria Renee. But I think it'll be pretty good. I think it'll be better than people think.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. All right, in the 6-11, Kalani versus Ronda. We've got USA versus USA. It's American on American crime. These guys have faced off 10 or 11 times, mostly in U.S. national and national qualifiers. Kalani may be the lower seed, but I think she's the favorite here, and I think she wins in 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kalani's going to win it. As Veronica would say, you never count Ronda out. She knows how to win. She's won everything. She figures it out. She plays big in the necessary moments. So if she keeps it close, she'll have a good chance. But if she lets Kalani run away with it, I think it'll be tough for her to come back and win that. But yeah, I'm going to have to, as much as I hate it, because, Ronda's a good friend. I've known Ronda a long time. We've been doing this a long time together.
Ronda's playing in like her 22nd professional season. It's she's still going strong though. She's still ranked.
It's impressive. We talk about that a lot offline.
Yeah.
Putting that in perspective, how many seasons I played. And it's pretty good.
All right, in your 7-10, here's an interesting one for you because they've never met professionally or anywhere else I can see. And that's number 7, Erica Mania versus number 10, Carla Munoz. I don't even know where to begin with this other than to say that right now in my personal world rankings, I've got Erica, very high up based on who she's been able to beat in the last 6 months. And so I'm just going to favor her to begin with just based on form. But what do you think?
Eric is playing some really good ball, but so is Carla. Carla's playing really well also. I can tell you that right now. She's playing with confidence. She's working hard. She's playing better, no doubt about it. But then you have Erica there. Erica's arguably the best U.S. has to offer right now, along with Kalani. Again, I think that's a really good match. I think it's a tiebreaker. And I just think Carla's going to pull it out. I tell you what, if it's close, if it's tight, I'll go Erica. But if it's not, and somebody has a little bit of a gap and a little bit of a lead, I'll take Carla. All right? Is that okay? You let me get away with that?
I like that. Both of these players are really passionate on the court. So if it gets tight, watch out. I wouldn't want to ref this one.
I don't want to ref ever. That's my number one motivation to not lose when I go to these tournaments where they make the losers ref.
I agree. All right, last round of 16, Herrera versus Amaya. I think this is kind of a quickie 2-game win for Herrera. She's just too strong, and Amaya's been around for a long time, and I think we just kind of cruise through this.
Yeah, Herrera's playing too well. I want to see what she does off of that, not such a great park event. And then she played again, recently. It's just she's playing a lot of ball. These girls are playing a lot of ball. Christina's a good player, been around a long time. I just think Herrera's a little bit too much, and I think Herrera gets through that.
I agree. All right, so let's project the quarters. We want to leave enough time to talk about the men and to talk about nationals. All right, so I think we're talking about a Longoria Salas 1 versus 8 quarter.
Longoria.
So just here's a fun fact.
Let's make this the speed round, unless you have some incredible stats.
Yeah, here's an incredible stat. These two players have played 56 times professionally.
Okay. What's
their record? What's the head-to-head?
54-2.
53-3. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Paola's that good. She's hands down the greatest women's player of all time. So it just doesn't shock me. I'm going Paola in 2.
Okay. All right. Paria versus Holly Scott.
Holly Scott.
Man, have these guys ever met?
Well, that's if we get it right. I mean, we're being.
Yeah, that's true. They've played one time in their life, and that was in 2016. So,
Jessica won that.
Yeah, Jessica won that in 3. That back when they played 3 out of 5.
Yeah, Holly's a kid. Holly's young, man.
Yeah.
Holly's, I think Jessica's what, 30 now, 31?
Yeah. I think I think Jessica can. Well, you said you think Holly wins that.
I think if it's Holly and Jessica, because they both have tough matchups, I'm going with Holly.
Okay. All right. 3 versus we got Vargas versus Lawrence. So these two have played several times in the recent memory. Vargas has never lost to Lawrence, but Lawrence has been making these matches.
Wait, can I just say I see Holly Ray Scott is watching. Holly, I do predict you in the semis, so let's make that happen. All right. So you got Vargas Kelani. I think Vargas, she's just a little bit too much. I think my doubles partner is playing really well. But I think it'll be a good one. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna have to go with Vargas in that one.
Vargas has never lost to her. They've played 5 times. But the scores are close.
Doesn't surprise. Listen, Kalani's scrappy, man. She stays in it. She's ready. Always.
Like they went tiebreaker at Worlds last December in Guatemala, 13-10 in 2019 on Kalani's home courts. To be fair, 13-9 at the 2019 Pan Am Games. I mean, this is going to be a battle. This is not a 4-5 win for Vargas.
No. Nobody. Listen, Kalani is never easy for anyone. I could tell you that.
All right. Next up would be Herrera versus Munoz.
Got to go Alexandra. I think she's the second best player in the world right now. And I think at that point, Carla's running into a really good, solid professional player. And hello to Shane DeWitt. Shane DeWitt, by the way, for all of you, we see there's over 4,000 views on that short little 6-minute documentary. Shane, I can't thank you enough. And yeah, I am going to have you on the show, and we are going to talk about that video and some other projects and some things, your thoughts on racquetball stuff. So sorry about that, Todd.
No worries. So just a little recent history. Alexandra and Carla met in the quarters in November, Chicago. Alexandra won 1-3. So Carla has her work cut out for her, to reverse the tide there. Okay, projecting our semis. You've got Longoria and Scott in the semis. Interesting.
I mean, Holly, you had an amazing tournament. You're going to get there. Don't be satisfied ever. I don't hope it, but doing the show, keeping it real. I'm not there, so I'm not sure, but you're going to have to play some serious ball to beat Paola. Everybody is. And it's not about, killing balls and hitting perfect, and you don't have to play perfect, but you're going to have to put it all together. So I'm going to say that. And Holly played Paola, by the way, really tough in Vero Beach. I mean, Everybody was on the edge of their seat watching that. So, when Holly has that moment and she has that match, I'm telling you right now, you're going to see another player, because when a player gets that confidence and they know and believe they can win, not only did they know it, but now their opponents and everybody can feel that. And that makes you that much better. So, we'll see. But I would have to pick Longoria in that one.
Hey, these two met in the round of 16 in both of the last two LPRT events. In Boston, Paola won 12-11, and in Vero Beach, she won 4-14. So Holly nearly pushed that one to a tiebreaker. But that 12-11 is notable. If you're losing to somebody 12-11, then you're in that match, and the narrative is a couple of bounces go here and there, and that's a different match, right? And so that's what you look for. You look for, first get to a tiebreaker and then look for the upset. All right, on the bottom side, we're thinking it's going to be 2 versus 3, Vargas versus Herrera. What are your thoughts?
Vargas is a family friend. I work with her. She's I got to go Herrera in a tiebreaker in that one. I'll leave it at that.
These guys have met, these two, I keep saying guys, these two professionals have met 11 times. Alexandria is, what do you think their head-to-head is?
How many times?
They've met 11 times.
7-4.
It is 2-9. And those 2 wins for Alexandra are in November of last year and at Vero Beach in February of this year.
Not a good matchup for Herrera. Maria hits hard. She hits lines. She hits passes. She serves well, but Alexandra's a new. She has a new physicality about the way she approaches it now.
Yeah, I mean the Vero Beach win was 3-8, which is a real beatdown, especially for a semifinal of a pro event.
Not my fault, because Vargas stayed at our house. It's not our fault.
Did you guys stay up watching movies?
I would have had them watching Braveheart and Gladiator and running through a wall at 2:30 in the morning if I did that. But I did not. That's what I used to do. You know that. I used to watch Braveheart before every final in my pro matches.
I like that.
That's another discussion.
I like that. All right, so we're thinking it's going to be the same final we've had in the last 2 events, which is Longoria versus Herrera.
Gotta go Longoria. As much as the world would like to see a Herrera win and that rivalry develop, I don't think it's quite yet a rivalry. I'll tell you what, if Alexandra beats Paola this weekend in the final, if that happens, because we're jumping way ahead of ourselves.
That is true.
I would say you have an official rivalry.
So here's a wrinkle. The courts in Greenville are cement. They're fast. Does that give an advantage to Herrera or to Longoria or to neither? Neither.
When you're a professional, it's a misconception, right, Todd? I like when you correct my vocabulary or grammar when it's incorrect. You're talking about the best players in the world. We adjust. We've played on every court there is. We know how to adjust our swings. And it's sexy and fun for players to go, oh, advantage you, advantage him, advantage her. It's not the case. We make the adjustments. We know how to hit shots. We know how to hit serves. We know when to not overswing. Could you ask me if I prefer a certain court versus another? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we're all playing on the same court, brother. So
that's true.
Let's have at it. Let's see what we got. I don't think it's an advantage either way. I think that hopefully we just see a great match.
I agree. I've been leaning, I'm leaning Herrera just because I like to follow the trends. And but I may have picked Longoria in the fantasy bracket. So I'm not sure.
I'm not telling you who I picked in the fantasy bracket. All right. That's the women. Let's take a quick 15 seconds, Todd. That's all. And we'll come right back with the men's IRT draw coming out of Long Island, New York. All right. We'll be back in 15 seconds. Literally. Time me. I told you, was that 15 seconds?
That was pretty close.
All right, here's the men's draw right here. All right. And I know that you engaged in some discussion about a big name in that draw. We'll get to that. But let's just get right to it, match by match. Let's not discuss too much what we think in the 32s, Todd. Let's get right through it. Let's just pick our players, who we think, and go from there. How about that?
All right. So you want me to you want to talk about who we think is going to win the 32s?
Correct. Let's start in the 32s and make our picks.
All right, in the 32s, I think Jordy's the hot hand, and I think he beats Momo, even though Momo is a solid player.
I concur. Even though Momo is a great guy, he's doing some great things with Formula Flow. We appreciate his racquetball love and passion. And I'm still going to go with Jordy in this one because I think Momo's trying to build his business and get better at that, which is fine. Keep doing it, Momo.
So Jake versus Horn, another U.S. versus U.S. This is a frequent old WRT matchup. And if it was in the WRT days, I might have picked Horn. But here, I think you picked Jake.
Well, it's interesting. Let me tell you this. I know for a fact that Bobby is super comfortable. Bobby Horn is really comfortable and confident against Jake. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know how much Bobby's really been training and playing. He's super athletic. He's one of the most athletic people in the draw. And I'm going to go with Jake.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. 12 versus 21. Mania versus Galicia. I think Mania cruises to this. Good for Galicia to make it to this point, but I don't think he's a threat to beat a top touring pro.
Adam's ready. Galicia's too nice, man. Come on, get a little meaner. I know those Guatemalans, they're super nice. Galicia's a good dude. Just need a little nastiness, a little edginess, and I think Mania will win that one.
Yeah. All right, so then you have Sebastian Patata Fernandez versus the Ecuadorian number 1, Jose Daniel Ugalde. So Ugalde is listed on the bracket as a 20 seed, but in reality, he was something like a 38 seed because he just doesn't have any IRT points. He got really two really solid wins to advance to this stage, but I think Fernandez is going to overpower him here.
What do you mean solid? Who did he beat?
He beat...
Oh, no, I can't do this because it's not there.
So Ugalde took out the Set Ceballos from Colombia in the 128s, and then he really dominated Michael Leduc from Canada in the 64s. So he won. He won 1 and 5, and then 4 and 7. So he had 2 dominant wins. Let me say that.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Ugalde, Topo as his nickname. He's a great right side doubles player from Ecuador. I coached him for a couple of years, played against him, played with him. The power and athleticism of Patata will be too much, but it might be a little close. Wait, we've got a call, everybody.
All right, time out.
Let's pick it up. I'm going to put him on speaker. You ready? Okay, you're on speaker. And I'm live on a show, not kidding. So we just have we're going through the pro draw in New York. We just want to know why you didn't make it or what's going on. And if you can, tell us what's up.
Well, hello, everybody. I wasn't expecting this. I was calling just to say hi, Chet. All right, so I'm talking to the whole world, apparently. No, I had a prior function that was actually originally scheduled around this event at the beginning of the year, which the date of this event was the weekend before. And that schedule was obviously tentative by the IRT, but my wife had a charity event that I'm doing with my daughter. And we had to, she was actually setting that up. And it was one of those things that I couldn't be there. Being that my daughter's getting set to graduate and it's some senior functions that she has, I didn't want to miss it for her, but those things were scheduled, and it would have been a really big mistake for me to not be at those events.
Rock, good for you, brother. I appreciate that. You're a great dad. Jazz is lucky to have you. And of course you wouldn't miss that. Life is different. We talk about it a lot. You are missed. Robert Lyon says you haven't missed a tier 1 in 20 years. Is that accurate, Top Boss?
No, that's actually incorrect. I did miss one. I originally confirmed to, I believe, the Anthony Farino or the Beach Bash about 4 years ago. And within a month of that, the tour commissioner or president put a tournament together in, in Texas. And I was pretty bummed about that because it was kind of on the fly. And, you know, I am a dad. I have a family, and we have to schedule things out ahead of time. And for those things to be implications in the long run, it is a frustrating thing for somebody like me because I do have to set my schedule around their events, and that's my job. But when they change things, it makes it tough for me because we've had vacations that we've paid for and different things like that sometimes we can't get our money back on it. And I've had that happen 3 times in the last 6 years, unfortunately, where things have been put together a little bit late, and it's been frustrating for me. I get where the tour is coming from right now. Coming out of COVID, it's not been easy for them to get tournaments set up at certain venues where sometimes the money's there, but then the venue's not willing to cooperate. So they're dealing with a lot of things. So I really I'm not too upset about this with that. In the past I was, because I was actually fighting for a number 1 spot, and guys are over there earning points. Well, I can't now go to that tournament unless I, back out on my word on some other people. And obviously refund some money that was paid for me to play in those events. So, overall, I wish I was at that event. I'm probably going to keep up with it at home, especially Team Dovetail. Looking forward to seeing a few of the matches I know for myself that I picked out stuff. So,
Rocky, hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling me back. I'll get you live here on the show real soon so we can chat and have some fun. We'll talk about that, what we want to do. Hey, nothing wrong with missing that event. You know how I feel. We talk about it often. Life is a little different now, obviously, but we'll chat soon, and I will see you shortly in Texas. All right. Say hello to the family, and enjoy the surfing. As I always tell you all the time, do me a favor. Don't get eaten by a shark, please.
Yeah, you know what? I'll have a fun post for you later today. I'll try to get that up there. I was out there at the water today, so you'll be able to see that if you guys want to check it out and stuff. It's something you'll get a kick out of. But thank you. I want to say thanks to the IRT for being understanding too, because they were supportive as well in this whole situation too. So thanks, guys.
All right, later, Rock. Thanks. Well, there you have it. I mean, that was cool. Right out of the horse's mouth. Rocky Carson giving us a call, and hey, he did the right thing. I have no problem with that. Family. He's got family. Life goes on.
So Rocky is absolutely the Lou Gehrig of racquetball. The stat here is he made 216 straight tournament appearances between September of 2000 and January of 2018, which is just an unbelievable stat. Never missed something.
I don't even know if anybody's going to come close. He's like the Cal Ripken almost.
Yeah. The number 2 player was Chris Crowther, who has 118 straight. So Rocky had 100 more tournaments in a row that he never got hurt, never missed a tournament.
That's impressive. I did not know that. Cool. All right, let's get moving. Let's go.
All right. So we left off with Adam and Galicia, or no, we left off with Sebastian and Jose Ugalde. All right.
Yes.
In the 14-19, Eduardo Garay faces Ezequiel Subieta, which is
Garay.
So Garay, yeah, I think Garay is your winner there. But I just wanted to note that Subieta, he got a couple of really solid wins to get to this point. He beat Troy Warrigon, and he beat Juan Salvatierra from Guatemala. So 2 good wins for him. But I think he ends at Garay. Here's the match that I'm really most looking forward to. Andre Acuna versus Canadian number 2, Kobe Iwasa. What are your thoughts here?
My thoughts on Acuna and Iwasa are that Acuna will win pretty easily. He's going to win that easy. I saw Kobe play in the park. Kobe, one of the greatest human beings to pick up a racquetball racket, and I mean that. But I think Acuna is he's playing well, man. He's playing good. I think he's on a different level. I think he's in a different tier of players right now. With that said, Kobe has a lot of the tools. He just doesn't play enough. But Acuna will win this one easy.
Yeah, I wish that we saw Iwasa more. I mean, he's, back in the day, he made it to the final of the WRT event when it was in Canada, beating a number of those guys. And those guys then transitioned to be some of our top pros now in the IRT. You're right. He just doesn't play enough. And, but in the meantime, Acuna has just it seems like every event he improves. So I think we're in agreement there.
Confidence, man. He's just getting confidence.
So then the 7th of the 8th round of 32, Sebastian Franco versus Bolivian junior Hector Barrios.
Sebastian Franco. Sebastian will win that. Barrios not there yet. Is Barrios the kid that doesn't play with a glove?
Not sure. I just know
anyone out there, if you don't play with a glove, put a glove on or I'll never pick you.
And then your last round of 32 is the veteran lefty Robert Collins versus another up-and-coming junior, Guillermo Jesus Ortega Jr. from Tijuana.
Collins, even though Mexico produces some good ones. And I'll tell you a little secret. My boy Alvaro Beltran is putting a lot of time. He's going to start working with some players out in Tijuana and down in Mexico. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a nice little run of Tijuana players coming up soon.
Look, I'll just give Ortega his props. He beat a very good, solid Colombian in Andres Gomez, and then he took out Eric Cuevas in a tiebreaker to make it to the spot. So even if he doesn't win here, he had 2 good wins here. It's a good tournament for him.
No, it's not, Todd. It's not good unless you win. You don't think of it like that. And if I'm coaching you and I want you to win and be one of the best, I'm not going to tell you, oh, that was a good tournament if it wasn't. You know what's a good tournament? When you're playing Sunday or Saturday. Depends on when the finals are.
Fair enough. Baby steps. All right, let's talk about what we think is going to happen in the main draw when the top 8 start to come into play.
Go for it.
De La Rosa versus Jordi Alonso.
De La Rosa is playing very good racquetball. He's going to win that in 2.
I agree. I like Alonso. He's been hot, but once Alonso runs into a top 8 player, he kind of runs out of gas. Number 8-9, always compelling. Jake versus Mario Mercado.
Jake Bredenbeck.
Yeah, I think
he better win that.
Yeah, I think Jake wins this one too. We talked about it last time we talked. Mercado had a really strange underperforming event in Park, and this is right on the heels of him winning his first Tier 1 in Arizona last November, and then he was one and done in the last pro event. So it's you wonder what's going on with him.
I don't know. We'll see. But Jake too, man. You gotta get some wins under your belt. Come on.
I agree. All right. Next up, Portillo, 5th seed, versus Adam Mania, the 12th seed.
Good one, but I'm going with Portillo. I'm sticking with the team dovetail by design squad over there. I think he's been training with Rocky, so Rocky's probably giving him some mental strength and conditioning stuff. Teaching him a little bit about what it takes, not the obvious, don't skip it, don't hit a short, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot more that goes on, details, and hopefully Rocky's, passing that on to the young buck, because it's not easy to do that when you're still competing.
Yeah, look, Portilla has wormed his way up to number 5. He's just a couple wins before he takes over number 4. He seems to be over his knee injury. And even though Mania can get wins and has some good wins on his resume, I think Lalo moves on here.
Me too.
All right, 4 versus 13. Landa in the number 4 spot versus number 13, Sebastian Patata.
Alex will win that pretty easy. That's a mental thing.
Wow. See, I'm gonna have to put a little flag up here. I think the last time these guys played, it was pretty close. Sebastian can score on Landa, and Landa is a notoriously slow starter, and he's had some injury problems. So is this an opportunity for Sebastian to move on?
It is, but my partner Alex better decide that he doesn't want to lose this match, make that decision, get ready to go work hard from 0-0. And don't give that kid, Sebastian Fernandez, any confidence. He doesn't need it. He's another one that's going to be working with Alvaro a lot. And he's going to start getting a lot of good info. So be careful out there, Pro Tour. You've been warned.
Fair enough. All right. 3 versus 14. Murray versus Garay.
Murray.
Yeah, I can't disagree. The first time I saw Garay play, I was just astounded by the pace that he put on the ball. And I was like, wow, this guy's going to make up. It was his first year on tour.
He's just too streaky. I played him in doubles with Alex, and, he would get hot like crazy. And I would tell Alex, I said, hey, he's not going to maintain this level. He's pounding balls. They're going to start coming off the back wall, which they did. And he's a really good player. But, Murray's going to win that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Murray's another one of those guys that rarely takes an early round loss. He rarely loses to people he's not supposed to lose to. He's always kind of like right in his lane, which is why he's been right in that 5 to 7 range on tour for a number of years now.
Yeah, Murray doesn't talk a lot. He's a pretty funny dude. So every time I see him, you know what I say, right? I'm like, "What's up, Sam?" Right away.
For those of you who've never heard Murray speak, you look at him and you would be shocked by the voice that you hear. I don't know. It's almost like he's a cliche of a voice actor of a Canadian big dude. You know what I mean?
He's a good dude, but yeah, he definitely doesn't. He's not a big talker. I can tell you that.
All right, 6 versus 11. Conrado versus Andre Acuna. So this is a frequent matchup. These guys have played now 3 times in the last 5 months or so. Each time a Conrado win, but each time closer than you might have thought. Andre consistently gives Moscoso trouble in these matches. Can he turn the tide? Can he get an upset?
No. Conrado's going to win this. It's going to be hard for me to ever bet against Conrado, considering I think he's the second most talented player in the world today.
Fair enough. All right. 7-10. The King, Kane Wozniacki versus Sebastian Franco.
Kane.
Yeah, I don't think Kane has any troubles here. He's played Franco a number of times. These are both veterans. Kane's never lost to him, obviously, and so Kane will move on here. This will be a good starter match for Kane.
You know what? That's well put.
I like
Sebastian's got to go out though and want to fight, man.
Well, and I say this because I like Sebastian. Sebastian's from the DC area. He lived in the DC area for a number of years, so we have a number of friends. He played out of the same club that I first started playing at in Laurel.
Sebastian's a good dude, man. I like Sebastian, but come on, we're talking about who's going to win matches.
I agree. 2 versus 15. Parilla versus Collins. I don't think there's any question here.
Move on.
All right. Let's talk about what we think are going to be the quarters. 1 versus 9. De La Rosa, Jake. These guys are constantly meeting up lately. Can Jake get the big upset?
No.
Well, I hope
De La Rosa is going to win that.
Yeah, De La Rosa. This is, I don't think even though Jake took De La Rosa 11-10 in Florida the last time they met, I have a hard time thinking, and actually there's a couple of 11-10 matches between them recently. But Daniel has the game and he has the mindset to kind of control this if he wants to.
I would love to see Jake win, but he's got to do it then. You got to win these matches, man. I want to see Jake do it. Jake's one of those guys, those players that I have openly said I would love to work with. I would love to work with that guy. But, here's the other thing, Todd, and we talk about this a lot too, when it comes to historically speaking in the sport. Yeah. TikTok, right?
It's true.
Like TikTok, a couple of players have kind of gone by our boy Jake, guys like Acuna, Lalo, players that maybe we didn't think, we're gonna. There was a time where we thought Jake could be top 2 or 3. And I'm not saying he can't be, but got to do it. Got to get it done.
Look, it's a good point. Believe it or not, Jake turns 30 later this year.
That's
maybe that dates us. But here's a little nugget for you, Sudsy. The last time that Jake beat De La Rosa in this event 2 years ago at the 2019 Syosset Open, or 3 years ago rather. So you like New York? Yeah.
He might like it. Yeah, maybe. New
All right.
York's it's easy to play with the old school fans. So wait, what are we going to the quarters here or semis?
We're in the quarters now.
Oh, okay, that was a quarter. All right,
so we're that was the first quarter. So it'd be 1 versus 9. De La Rosa beating Jake in the top quarter.
Go.
4-5. Landa Portilla.
Man, you're killing me. I'm going with Landa because I'm telling you all now. I apologize in advance. I'm not going to pick against my partner.
I think Portillo has a good chance of beating him here. I think that Portillo can hang with him. I think that it's a 22-year-old versus a 33-year-old. Landa's not long for this tour. And at some point he's going to start losing these matches.
I don't know what to tell you. He's my partner. We're going to go kick some ass in Texas.
Fair enough. All right. In the third quarter, Murray Moscoso.
Good one. Good one.
This is a good one. They've met 4 times. What's their career head-to-head?
Ooh. 22.
They are 2-2. That is correct. Murray beat him in the 2018 U.S. Open. Moscoso beat him in the Pan American Championships in 2019. Then Murray turned around and beat him in the final to get his first big win in January of last year in Atlanta. And then they met in Florida in November, where Moscoso took him out in a tiebreaker, 11-8. So
I think Sam's pretty comfortable playing Moscoso, Connie, as I like to call him, and I'm going to go with Conrado.
I'm going to go with Conrado too, but this would be no upset if Murray takes him out here.
No, and that's what's crazy. What's crazy is that I, for one, and others believe that Conrado is just a level above all these guys, and we should be picking him and moving on.
No, it's all about matchups.
Yeah, no, Murray's super comfortable playing against him, so we'll see what happens. And Murray's likable too. He's good. He's a good dude.
It is all about matchups for a long time. I will get to it in a second. I'll just save it. But yeah, there's irrespective of the seeds. We look at some of these matchups and you're like, oh, he can't beat him, even though the seeds might not work out. Last quarter, it's going to be 2 versus 7. Kane at number 7 spot versus number 2, Andre Perea, a rematch of a final 2 tournaments ago, an epic final.
Yeah, Kane's going to win like 7 and 9.
So Kane comes in with a bone to pick and a grudge over having taken a loss to his younger rival. But Andre, he's a scrapper, and he found a serve that Kane clearly struggled with in that match.
And if you think Kane didn't go work on that, you're crazy.
That's why they're professionals. All right. Projected semis at the top, 1 versus 4. De La Rosa versus Landa.
Before we get into the semis, okay, we're going to do the semis in a second. Right here, we're going to discuss it. But we are going to take another 15 seconds, Todd. All right?
Okay.
Give me 15 seconds here. And you can go blow your nose or go to the bathroom. 15 seconds, you don't have enough time. Be right there. Don't move.
Okay.
Just having too much fun learning all this back end stuff. So, forgive me, everybody, but you do have to support. I appreciate the support. Obviously, you see there's a few people there that really help keep me going, keep me motivated, and enable me to do what I do, Todd. And I'm doing everything I can in the best interest of the sport. But
100%.
That's a whole nother story. All right, let's get to the semis, brother.
All right, semis at the top, 1 versus 4. Landa or De La Rosa number 1 versus Landa number 4. Fun fact: they've played each other 15 times. What's the career head-to-head between them?
Wow, that's a tough one. 9-6.
9-6 who?
De La Rosa.
Landa 10-5.
Wow. Okay.
Landa has owned De La Rosa in their career. He's beat the last time De La Rosa got a win over Landa was in January of 2017. They have played each other 6 times since. Landa wins every time.
Wow. I did not know that. I'm not shocked.
So let's talk about matchups. Why is Landa such a bad matchup for the clear number 1 player in the world right now?
Yeah, that's probably has a little bit to do with the growing up in Mexico thing. Alex is a little bit older. I think that he probably has that on Daniel a little bit. Daniel probably looked up to Alex, growing up as one of the better players. Alex had a little earlier success. So I think that's more of a personality thing than anything else. And sometimes we're just more comfortable against certain players and certain types of players. And I think Alex is super comfortable against them. The other thing I think that actually is hurting Daniel that maybe not too many people see in this event is he's looking on the other side and he sees that lefty Kane. And everybody and anybody knows that the world is looking for that. And that's what they want to see, Kane and Daniel. And, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But I think that if anything, Daniel's more distracted about knowing Kane's there than Kane being more distracted. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Alex wins that. We'll see.
Look, we've seen, there's been 2 events since Kane's kind of quote unquote return where Kane was on the other side, Daniel was number 1. One of those times he got upset by Rocky in the quarters, and one of those times he got upset by Parilla in the semis. So the narrative that we are speaking, I agree with you, is that Daniel's looking ahead. He's scoreboard watching. He's not focusing at the task at hand. Maybe third time's a charm. Maybe after taking 2 kind of unexpected losses to try to get to the matchup that he wants and that we all want, he's looking.
Well, and let me tell you, Todd. It's it's a factor because it's easy to say, and even when I coach a lot of players, and we say don't look ahead, but you do. You know who's where and what's going on. You still play in the now. So I think it's going to be interesting. And I think because of all of those factors, I think because of the matchup, I think because of the mental edge I'm going to give to Landa in the specific one-on-one matchup for my friend George DeWilloughby, who said, who is the pick? You know the answer, George. I'm going with my partner, Alex Landa, in a tiebreaker.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. De La Rosa cannot ask for anything more in this draw. He doesn't have Moscoso on his side. He doesn't have Parilla on his side. He doesn't have Murray on his side. He has players that he's played a million times and that he should be able to handle. He has no excuse not to get to the final. All right, other side. Kane.
So you're kind of calling Daniel out, aren't you?
Hey, he's playing too much pickleball, darn it. Get back to racquetball.
He is. He's pretty damn good at it, too.
On the other side, we think the other semi is going to be Murray and Kane.
No, I think it's going to be.
Moscoso and Kane. I'm sorry. Moscoso and Kane, which is a great matchup for neutrals. These
should be, but it's a mental thing. Kane in 2, he's better. And I think, Kane and I have had some private discussion about what he feels about Conrado. And I think that Kane is very confident against everybody, let's be quite honest. But he also likes to play the ones that people kind of talk up.
Sure.
I can tell you he's dying to play Daniel.
Yeah.
It's just Daniel's got to get there.
Yeah.
So I'm going Kane in 2.
Yeah, look, these guys have played 5 times. The most famous match between them was the 2019 U.S. Open final, where the first game was 15-12, and everyone was like, "Man, is this the beginning of something?" And then Kane ran away with the second game, and then they played again in Austin in 2020 January, like a couple terms before they shut down with COVID, and it was a domination, 4-1. So. The last time these guys also met in Chicago at the same juncture because it was basically the same seeds, and it was a 6-7 win for Kane. And I think we're going to be hard pressed to see much better than that out of Conrado. I think this is going to be Kane in 2, and it's going to be like 8-5, something like that.
Yeah, they got to get dirty and figure it out. Kane's the best player in the world. I think he's going to win the event. If I'm Conrado at this point, I go live with someone like myself or Cliff Swain or Jason Menino and really mentally, Todd, decide that I don't care who's out there. I have every weapon and skill that's necessary. Let's serve it up. Let's see what happens. If need be, we take off the rackets. We figure it out, roll around a little bit. But I think, Conrado needs that edge. I had Conrado train with me for a few weeks before he had a really good. He's coming out international where he almost beat Rocky, 11-9 breaker. I think Rocky just finished number 1. And, he came to Ecuador and worked with me for 3 weeks going into that event. And I told Veronica, I said, this kid is the second best player in the world. He wasn't even ranked or anything. And I saw all those weapons. I saw those tools. I'm just not sure mentally where he's at. He's pretty content in his bubble in Bolivia. He's pretty famous. He's well liked. He's known. But Kane's Kane, man, and Kane's gonna do what he does, and Kane's gonna win that. Not a doubt in my mind.
All right, so we're picking a Landa Kane final. They have played 19 times. What's their head-to-head?
I hate to say this. 19-0 Kane.
18-1 Kane. However, the one loss was a
doesn't count
forfeit. No,
doesn't count. So it's really 18-0, 19-0.
So it's 8. So yeah, 0-18 on the court.
Nice to see Freddie Ramirez from Restrung. Freddie, I'm going to get you out here too. And I got to say hi to my partner, Kalani Lawrence. Hi, Kalani. Be ready. I'll be ready. Maybe we'll have Kalani play the backhand and mixed doubles, Todd. We're going to talk about national doubles in a minute real quick here.
Yes.
So look, I'm going to go with Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last time that they played, Kane won 1-5. Kane beat Alejandro in a semi a couple meetups back, 1-2. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, unfortunately, Landa just does not have a game plan against Kane. I think it's a bad matchup for Landa, frankly.
I don't think it's necessarily a matchup, a game plan as much as it is a belief factor. I think that whoever gets there, and by the way, for the record, I think Kane's going to win the event. So if Daniel gets there, or anyone else, I'm picking Kane to win. And I don't think a lot of these guys believe they even, have a chance. I don't. Sorry. Show me different. And that's why I say I think it's going to be, someone that could beat Kane will be, Perea did it once, right? And we talk about that. Does that mean he's better? Does that he was on that day, for a couple of points. I think it was 11-10 breaker. And good for him. And nobody can ever take that away. That's awesome. But you have to do it more than once. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree here with George. Once they get there, they feel like they've lost already. It's just a matter of how many points they're behind before that ball is hit into play. And I think that that's where, some good coaching, and I wouldn't be surprised. Alvaro's doing a lot of work with some Mexican juniors. I think that's going to help a lot. I'd like to see where it goes. When you learn and figure out, just play the ball. Don't play the person. Don't play the name. Don't play the ranking, the resume. Just play the racquetball. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but anything could happen. Cliff Swain beat the crap out of me the first 5 or 6 times. I'm sure you have it in your stats. But every time I got a little better, a little bit more belief. And eventually I pulled one out. And then from that moment on, everything changed, and that's what it's going to take. I don't know. I think, we'll see. I just think Kane's too good. He's too much better than everybody else right now.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our predictions there. You want to pivot and talk a little bit about upcoming U.S. Nationals?
Yeah, I do. You want to talk about Nationals? Any players from Team USA or wanting to be on Team USA in the chat, chime in. But Todd, I'm going to let you discuss it. I don't really have much to say other than I'm going to be going to College Station, Texas. I'll probably buy an A&M Aggies hat or shirt or something. I don't know. Malia Bailey. Hi, Malia. Malia's the best. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be ready. My focus is to stay healthy. Hi, Amy Little. Amy. If Kalani Lawrence wasn't available, Amy Little, you and I might be playing national doubles. My focus, Todd, now from now till then is not to overtrain just be healthy, be excited about getting in there, and
Right.
that's it. That's what I want to do.
So yeah, fair enough, 100%. So why don't we talk about? So we don't have the draws out yet because the technically the signups are still the registration is still active, and we have no idea what the draw is going to look like. But what we can see is who's entered into what division. So maybe what we can do is go kind of division by division and kind of read off who the teams are in doubles or who the competitors are and think about what we think might happen. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, don't ask me about the men's doubles because who would I be if I said anything other than Alex and I or Kalani and I? Actually, yeah, we can't really talk about who I think is going to win. Let's start with the women's. How about that?
You can talk about who you think is going to win. If you want to, if you're going to predict you to win twice, no one's going to argue against that. All right, let's talk about women's. Let's talk about women's doubles first. Looking at the entrants here, and you can go to R2 Sports and click on the participants list, and even though you can't see the brackets, so I can see the teams. I'm going to read off the teams, and you kind of tell me who you think are your favorites here.
Well, just give me, in all fairness, the top 4 teams because let's be honest,
All right. Your top 4 teams are probably going to be Michelle De La Rosa and Lexi York, Kalani and Holly, Rhonda and Cheryl, Erica and Amy Roller. And then you also have to throw in there a wild card. You have the youngsters and Naomi and Shane Diaz playing together. And then in a throwback division, you have Laura Fenton coming to nationals this year, and putting down the pickleball paddle and playing with Linda Tyler from Texas. So I'm going to look up and see who your defending champion is to see who's going to be the number 1 seed.
Rhonda and Mania are the defending champs.
So Rhonda and Mania. Wait, all right. So Rhonda and Mania are the defending champs, and they are split up. Cheryl Lotz and Michelle De La Rosa made the final, and they're split up.
Holly, hey, you know what? I just came up with an idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As much as I know we want to talk about this, why don't we do a show after the draws come out?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a show. That's probably fair. We're already an hour. We're already boring the heck out of our fans.
No, I don't think so. I just think that this was about the IRT LPRT. I jumped ahead and said let's discuss national doubles, but I think it would be more fun. Let's wait for the draws to come out. Let's do this again.
Absolutely. Wait for the draws. We can argue about the seeding. We can argue about when we can make predictions.
Oh, I can't wait. So let's do that. Let's save it, Todd. Let's leave it there. Everybody and anybody that's interested, you want to throw your picks up here. We appreciate it. We'll maybe we'll have my partners on. How about that? What do you think about that? We'll bring Kalani in. We'll bring Alex Landa in. We'll talk a little bit about what we expect. And they already know this, but if they expect anything less than a gold medal, not much to talk about. That's what Belgian Malinois do. We go out there and we win. We're creative. We're fun. We're exciting. We're mean when we need to be, right, Malia? But we'll talk about the national. It's going to be good. I think we should, let's leave the focus on Greenville, South Carolina with the women. Great event. And, of course, the New York Open in Long Island, New York. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Let me ask you this, Todd. Of the 2 events this weekend, what matchup or what are you most excited to see? What's your storyline of the weekend between the 2 tours?
Well, Greenville is an important place for the ladies because it's where their Hall of Fame is. We didn't mention this, but Shannon Wright is being inducted into the LPRT Hall of Fame this weekend. So the club where they host this actually has the hall and the plaques on a wall, which is really kind of cool. So it's a special place. It's a grand slam for the ladies. And so that is an important event for them. I'm always partial to the men's pros just because that's where I got started as a quote unquote analyst or a follower of the sport, and so I'm always interested in seeing the matchups. And that's why I write these prediction pieces, which are always invariably wrong. But I love predicting upsets. I love when a hard hitting player comes up and is hitting photon serves and challenging a vet. That's what I look forward to. So that so that's what I want to see on both sides of the tour.
All right. I got nothing else to say. I mean, I'm gonna leave it at that, Todd. I'm gonna say thank you for joining me. It was pretty awesome. We'll do this again at some point for sure. I'm excited to announce. I think I told you this too, right? We are going to have the LPRT back here again, and there it is.
Yeah,
right there, Todd.
No,
so
that's
I hope
awesome.
you get there this year.
January 2023. I'll start saving up my Marriott points now.
Don't get me started. You don't need to save up your Marriott points. We'll have a good time. You come down, and I'll show you what Florida is all about. So, Todd, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that joined us. You guys sending stars, I really appreciate it. Forgive me. It feels it's hard to talk about because I feel a certain way about mentioning them and even talking about them. But they are good. Todd, they're a good tool. I appreciate it. It definitely matters. It helps. I couldn't tell you what 1 star is worth versus what 1,000 stars are worth. I'll leave that to you, Todd Boss, because you're the statistician. To all the ladies that are watching, Kalani, Holly, Ray, I'm sure some of you guys are sneaking in there too. Good luck the rest of the weekend. Remember why you're there. You're there to compete. You're there to win. That's all you're there to do. When I didn't do that, Todd, I was on the first plane home because I wanted to make sure that I know how that felt. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the cities I was in, and shame on me a little bit, right? But that's how I was groomed. That's how I was molded. I wanted to go compete. I wanted to go win. If I didn't do it, I did everything in my power to be better the next time. And just go play the ball, be you, work your ass off, play hard, have fun, love the fans, respect 3 things always, right? Respect your opponent, respect the fans, respect the game. That's what we do in racquetball. Todd Boss, thank you so much.
Sudsy, it's just a decision. Just do it.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Have an amazing day. Hey, go bid on one of those bags. There's 1 left. Have a great night.